there's more than one reason to celebrate. Let's go on a journey. And count the way as we take you to experience a different side of the world's cultures. Adventure awaits on Festivals of the World. Kumbh Mela. You're going to wait for a very long time for this one, and if you're going to be a certified festival veteran, you're going to have to attend this festival at least once. It happens for only every 12 years, so you're very lucky if you get to witness Kumbh Mela more than once. There are 4 places where the Kumbh Mela is held, and those places do not commemorate Kumbh Mela on the same year. So it is possible that you can attend a Kumbh Mela more than once without waiting for 12 years, but in different places. Kumbh means pot, pitcher or jar, and Mela means fair or festival. The legends associated with this festival will explain why it's named like this. There are 4 Kumbh Mela festivals in 4 different places in India where a river runs nearby. It's still uncertain when the festival began, but according to Hindu mythology, Lord Vishnu, one of the primary gods of Hinduism, was transporting a kumbh or pot of nectar that could make the drinker immortal. But the kumbh leaked and drops of the nectar fell on the 4 places where Kumbh Mela is commemorated at present. Other accounts say that the Hindu gods and demons were fighting over the kumbh of immortality nectar, and as a result, the pot broke. The nectar scattered in the 4 riverside cities. These places are Haridwar, Trimbak, Ujjain, and Allahabad. The war went on for 12 days and 12 nights, equivalent to 12 human years, thus the 12-year separation from each festival edition. It is believed that the people who bathe on the river and their ancestors will be free from the eternal cycle of rebirth, or what's more popularly called reincarnation. The river to bathe in depends on which city commemorates Kumbh Mela for that year, if there are any. One of the major events during Kumbh Mela is the Peshwai procession, wherein Peshwai means receiving of guests. And this is when the ascetic or holy men called sadhu arrive at the Kumbh Mela. The procession has elaborate floats decorated with gold, red, and orange, and the oldest sadhus are sitting in them. Others are riding elephants and horses, while some perform acrobatic stunts and show their martial arts skills using the assistance of swords. You don't want to miss the bathing day, or what's called Mauni Amavasya Snan, because that's always the main highlight of Kumbh Mela. Be early if you want a nice spot to be able to watch the naked men bathe. Don't be so scandalized. It's a Hindu tradition, and if it's supposed to wash their sins away. Apparently, it's a big thing for Hindu devotees because any Kumbh Mela is visited by no less than 10 million people. So you getting all judgmental on the naked men isn't a good sight. You'd be able to distinguish the sadhus if they are wearing saffron clothes with vibhuti ashes on their skins. You can also see Naga sadhus, those who don't wear any clothes, in order to disassociate themselves from the material world, so don't be too surprised to see naked men, because they're not just naked men. Then there is also darshan, a respectful exchange of views. This is contrasting to the river bathing rampage because everything about darshan is very peaceful and polite. The Hindu people could interact with the sadhus and they could ask for instruction or spiritual advice. Darshan focuses on the visual exchange, where there is interaction with a religious deity and the worshipper is able to visually drink divine power. In all 4 places, Kumbh Mela happens every 12 years. But then, there is what they call Ardh Kumbh Mela, or half Kumbh, that happens 6 years after the previous and 6 years before the next Kumbh Mela. but this one is only held at Allahabad and Haridwar. Then there is the Maha Kumbh that occurs after 12 full Kumbh Melas, that is every 144 years. Kumbh Mela in Allahabad happens after 3 years of Kumbh Mela at Haridwar, and Kumbh Mela at Trimbak Nashik happens 3 years after Kumbh Mela at Allahabad. Kumbh Mela at Trimbak Nashik and Ujjain either happen on the same year or are 1 year apart. See, you don't have to wait 12 years for the next Kumbh Mela because there are 4 places that commemorate it. Rainbow Serpents. The name sounds nice, doesn't it? But no, it's not a festival filled with rainbow serpents because aside from the fact that they're rare, they're also going to scare people off. What you're going to do instead is travel to Australia, but not in Sydney or Canberra. Instead, you're going to Beaufort, Victoria for yet another amazing music and arts fest, the Rainbow Serpent Festival. The name of the festival came from a creator god, the Rainbow Serpent, which is an important figure to Aboriginal Australian mythology. It is also said that the Rainbow Serpent was the one who carved the Earth's landscape. Aboriginal Australians believe that whenever a rainbow appears in the sky, the Rainbow Serpent is moving from one waterhole to another. This festival began in 1997 as a small secluded gathering in a glade. It's an annual event that falls on Australia Day, which is January 26th, and it lasts for a couple of days. And although it may not be a traditional Aboriginal festival, the Rainbow Serpent Festival incorporates many spiritual aspects of Aboriginal Dreamtime customs through a mix of music, arts, performance, relaxation, healing, and spiritual education, because until today, the Rainbow Serpent remains to be a major cultural and spiritual power to the Australian Aboriginals. If you want non-stop music for a couple of days, this is the perfect place for you. You're going to hear different genres and moods of music like chill-out psychedelic trance and tech house 24 hours a day. There are 5 stages: the main stage, the market stage, the sunset stage, and the chill-out stage, and the playground stage. These stages are spread out through the venue, and of course, there are different things going on at each stage. The main stage, not necessarily the most popular one, is where the harder music plays like psytrance. The main stage usually starts with an ambient act, and the energy increases as the succeeding acts go on throughout the night. The main stage also has the highest production costs among the 5 stages, and it runs on the Saturday night of the festival until the afternoon the next day. The market stage, on the other hand, is where the headliner acts or the most popular DJs perform. The market stage plays 72 hours consecutively, starting on the Friday of the festival, except for the 1-hour opening ceremony of the main stage. The sunset stage plays different sorts of music, and it plays throughout the festival, except for the 20-hour duration of the main stage. You can get what Chill Out Stage does from the name itself. You get to listen to chill music while relaxing on beanbags. You don't have to listen to each stage and stay awake the entire festival. You just find out when and where your favorite musicians are scheduled to play, and that's where you go. And lastly, Playground Stage is for live music and gives lots of opportunities for Melbourne's independent musicians to be a part of the festivity. The Playground Stage is also for you if you don't enjoy electronic music too much. There are also acts by comedians, cabarets, circus performers, and magicians. If you want a break from EDM and adrenaline-laden vibe, this one's perfect for you. Since the festival is held in a farmland, this only means one thing: camping. Either you bring your own tent or you can opt for premium accommodation. You get to choose one of the 3: bell tent, teepee, or yurt. You don't have to worry about setting up. The organizers will be the one to do that for you. But if you prefer setting up your own, that's fine too. Bottom line is, you came to have fun. Rainbow Serpent is an environmentally conscious festival, so do your part as guests. Only bring the things that you really need. Think about it. It'll be less hassle for you too. And if you collect all the recyclable materials you used until the end of the festival, like your empty water bottles, you'll get $5 back. If it'll make you feel better, surely the Rainbow Serpent would be very proud of you if you take part in recycling. Whether you're going to this festival for the music, to party, or to relax and chill, the Rainbow Serpent has something to offer you. So settle down and enjoy your 4-day break filled with amazing music and art. TIFF. By September, the Great White North is saying goodbye to summertime, but if you're in Toronto, worry not. There'll be something that'll make you forget winter is almost coming. The Toronto International Film Festival is once again knocking on the doors of all film lovers there. Cannes too far from your reach? Worry not, because this prestigious film festival will be something you'll enjoy. The festival is more often referred to as TIFF because aside from the fact that the full name is too long, it's a waste of breath to say the entire name when every film-loving person in Toronto understands what you mean by simply saying TIFF. If you want to disguise the fact that it's your first time at the TIFF, start by not saying its entire name. TIFF runs for 10 days in September, and it may seem that when you get to purchase a ticket for one film, you're good to go. No! Watch as many as you can, and that's possible through carefully strategized planning. Some seasoned patrons of the TIFF clear out their schedules during the screenings, and if they couldn't, they plan the films they're going to watch. Different films are screened at different establishments at Toronto, so you should know not only the screening time of the film you're watching, you should also give time for transportation if needed. If the films that you want are screened on the same venue, lucky. It's not as easy as it seems, you know. There are films that you can watch only at TIFF, so prioritize those. You can watch wide-release films weeks or months later. The hardest part is that TIFF screens so many good films that the 10 fingers in your hand are not enough to count them all. There are so many things to consider that your head will just explode. One of the things that you'll love and maybe hate too is that the films really start on time. Think about train schedules in Japan. That's how punctual TIFF is. If you're late, someone at the rush line will thank you. So to be safe, arrive 15 minutes before your film begins. Veterans would suggest that you allot 1.5-hour intervals between the films you're watching on the same day so that you can pick the seat that you want. TIFF strictly enforces their etiquette, so behave properly, and you better be friendly with those people waiting in queue with you because they're the only friends you can hope of making, since there's no way you can bribe a TIFF personnel unless maybe if you're the queen. TIFF understands the fangirl or fanboy in you, so if you have an actor or actress that you've been dying to meet since you had your first movie, or directors and writers you idolize so much, that's why there are premium tickets. Premium tickets are more expensive, of course, but agreeable discounts for people 25 years old and below and 65 years old and above are still given. Premium screenings are those having Q&As with the cast, the director, and producers. That's why you see celebs getting out of their limo and walking at the red carpet. If you're a fortunate soul getting to experience this, don't waste it by asking stupid questions. Some think of their questions the moment they order tickets. Do you want to know how to predict which film will win Best Picture in the Oscars? TIFF is the best teacher regarding that matter. It has earned the reputation of being able to sort of foreshadow which film will get nominated or eventually win the Best Picture in the Oscars, because the past few years, whichever film gets to win the TIFF Scrolsh People's Choice Award gets nominated or eventually wins Best Picture. You can vote, by the way, using your tickets or via online voting in the TIFF website. And if the award winner at TIFF gets nominated at the Oscars afterwards, that means TIFF patrons have great taste in films. And you can be one of them. So come on, let your film-loving soul have a feast. Governor's Ball. Our destination for this festival is to the city that never sleeps and the cultural capital of the world. Yup, we are visiting New York City for the Governor's Ball Music Festival. The fact that it is located at New York makes it exciting already, right? It's a young festival though. It only had its first edition in 2011 at Governor's Island. The maiden edition was hugely successful, that it had the highest attendance of any event held on Governor's Island. However, the next editions were held at Randall's Island because of the festival's growth, and the place seemed to be a more fitting home to the festival as it expands. It's amazing that for a festival so young, it was able to have artists like Kanye West, Kings of Leon, and Guns N' Roses be the headlining acts at the festival. Their secret to success is no Krabby Patty recipe. For the GovBall organizers, it's a matter of good execution and foresighted organizers ever since its first edition. Good reputation is credibility, and when you have those, it'll be easy to have the famous artists be part of the festival lineup. Of course, the other acts are just as good as the headliners. The GovBall lineup is a well-balanced one, featuring artists in different genres like rock, rap, hip-hop, electronica, pop, indie, Americana, and folk, so there is no excuse for you not to enjoy if you're a fan of any genre of music. The culture, the vibe, the fashion is almost comparable to California's Coachella and Texas's Bonnaroo. Watch yourself get blown away by the talent-laden artists who are just as enthusiastic and hyped as the festival goers. Be prepared for the weather. Battling against nature unarmed is always a bad idea. On the Friday of GovBall in 2013, organizers had to cancel the performances for that day because of a tropical storm. But because this is GovBall, everyone still ended up having a good time after the stormy day. So do your part to not ruin your day. You're on an island, surrounded by water, and most of the place is quite damp. Beware of blood-sucking mosquitoes. Bring bug spray or mosquito repellent. In addition to that, wear clothes and shoes that you'd be willing to retire. The mud, the sweaty people, and the trash, you're in for a huge wave of ick. New York is a mixed bag of polite and not-so-polite strangers. But be the bigger person and just focus on what you really came to the festival for. Dance to the beat, sway to the melody. Great music is what brought you to GovBall, and great music you shall have. Because GovBall takes a little bit of everything about New York City, there are cool artworks on display. Most works are contemporary and modern art, and everyone could appreciate the works without having to know what kind of brushstrokes the artists did on their pieces. The 2016 edition featured works with rich, vibrant colors, and they're quite pleasant to the eyes. According to the organizers of GovBall, the next best thing after live music is delicious food. If your ears, hearts, and souls are happy, so should your tummies. GovBall will bring you the best of New York City. The delicious combinations of burgers, snow cones, grilled cheese sandwiches, roasted coffee, waffles. It's like having a food trip on the streets of New York itself. Indeed, Governor's Ball is the answer of the music festival gods to the East Coast, and it's only right that it's located on the cultural capital that is New York City. And because you're already in one of the best cities in the world, hang around for a while before or after the festival. Visit the Met, the Empire State Building, Central Park, or whichever places you see featured on the American sitcoms you watch. Being in the best city in the world is an adventure in itself. So let your journey unfold. Come back! If you had fun in your first festival, then come back! There's no greater way of showing your enjoyment and appreciation for a festival than being a seasoned patron. You can share your knowledge and lessons you've learned to the excited but nervous newcomers. If you think that the next edition of a festival will be the same as the one you attended before, you might be surprised that it may not be the case. No matter how much you plan your festival schedule, for some reason, not everything goes according to plan. That's why you have to go back. On your next try, you now have the idea what to do to make things more fun for you, what activities you haven't tried out, or what you want to do again. By coming back, you'd have a deeper understanding of the culture and happenings at the festival. If you think that everything would just be the same, think harder. If a festival is the same old routine in every edition, why would it last for years? And some of these routines are done in each and every edition because of its cultural or religious significance. Festivals could never be boring, and there are reasons why they attract thousands or millions of people. And if you already know that there is a certain routine being followed, it's up to you to create the twists in your festival experiences. Anyway, no one's forcing you to come back to festivals you didn't particularly like. Return only to those you really enjoyed. If festivals brought you an exhilarated feeling, how could that be boring if it makes you think about returning? Now stop lolling around and start packing your stuff again because you'll be going back to only you know where. Have fun! The celebration ends here, but the fun is not over. And we still have more festivities to look forward to. So recharge your energy and get ready for another adventure. We'll see you again on Festivals of the World.